Dad's home.
Hi, Dad.
Lord of the manor, king of the castle.
Well, that seems appropriate.
I am a dad.
We are dads. We are many. We are one. We are the Legion of Dads.
The Legion.
Dads.
Hello.
We are the Legion of Dads.
Join us.
The Legion of Dads.
An entire legion.
Great, Dad.
We are the Legion of Dads.
Daddy-o.
From now on, we'll be known as the Legion.
So we are many.
We acknowledge this is an appropriate metaphor. We are Legion.
We are the Legion of Dads.
You are not alone. We are all in this together now.
Hello and welcome to Legions of Dads, a show for the modern dad who, like us, may not be able to get out and watch all the newest movies or play the hottest video games, but you know what? We do our best. I'm your host, Wyatt Kegel, and with me, as always, my co-hosts. I have the father of two, Kenneth Dupuy.
Kenneth. Hey, how's it going, Wyatt?
Doing good. How are you, sir?
Oh, another day in paradise.
Excellent. Well, and we also, of course, are joined by our middleman of the show, the father of four, Richard. Richard, are you here?
I'm here. What's going on?
All right, so getting into the show, we're going to start with the news. Kenneth, you had an interesting article you brought up today. Can you tell us about this new T2 Blu-ray?
Yeah, I mean, basically, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Terminator fan. It's that, series has had some pretty low lows, but I think that the highs are great, mainly T1 and T2. So T2 is pretty here in the next couple months, going to be coming out with a new release 3D in theaters on a limited run. But Lionsgate just announced another treading on the Blu-ray for it, which this time it's 4K. Brand new 4K Blu-ray. It's got a collector's edition, which is really cool. I have the old collector's edition, which was a T800 endoskeleton skull. Now, this one is a T800 endoskeleton arm. And what's also interesting, besides the new transfer, which I believe James Cameron has been working on for years now, is that there's also a brand new 55-minute documentary with new interviews with Arnold, James Cameron, and actually Eddie Furlong, who I haven't seen or heard anything from in quite some time.
He's still alive?
Yeah, I mean...
Wait a minute. Let's go back a second. You said that there's the endo arm or the endoskeleton arm. Is that the Arnold? I mean, spoiler alert for T2. Like when he cuts the skin off and he's like, "Listen to me very carefully."
It's essentially that arm, but it's not going to have like blood or anything on it. But it's like the clean arm, or the one that Miles Bennett Dyson had in the case. Think about the original, however you want to play it. But it's like a limited edition. They're only making so many of these. I think like 6,000 of these suckers. It is a little pricey at $174.99, but I think for like Terminator super fans like me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I haven't been able to find it pre-orderable yet, like on Amazon, which is probably where I'd go to. But in addition to that, they're also coming along with just the standalone Blu-ray for looks like $22.99. So
this link that you sent also, it says that it's a standalone. It's a 4K Ultra HD combo pack. So I mean, are you guys into the UHD, the Ultra HD stuff? Do you have anything?
I mean, I have a couple of them just for future proof, but I don't have a player yet.
Okay.
Mainly
do you have a screen do you have a monitor or a television that's 4K?
I do have a UHD 4K TV just recently purchased, but I've just been waiting on a player just because I don't need it right now. But this may be the dip into it. Also, Guardians 2 is coming on 4K, Disney's first 4K Blu-ray ever in August. So the big studios are about to start pushing them out. And the cool thing about the 4K Blu-rays is just like when Blu-rays first came out, they're including a 4K and a Blu-ray, and in some cases, a lot of cases, you're still getting a DVD and or digital with it. So you kind of getting it every way you could need it.
But like you were saying, you get this documentary.
Yeah,
that hasn't been out yet.
No,
right?
and T2 on its own has had multiple releases of Blu-rays and DVDs, the Ultimate Edition, the Extreme Edition, all these different, and they all have new special features every time, which is great. The special features on Cameron's movies usually are really in depth on the storytelling process and how he went around creating it. So it's just interesting to hear that guy talk, whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you're indifferent towards him. There's no denying that he's very passionate about filmmaking.
And really, with something like this, like right now, I find that I still buy Blu-rays just because of the special features, because that's the only.
Oh yeah.
I know iTunes has some special features, but for some reason, it never feels like you get all of it. That may be just me, but I always feel like I'm getting shortchanged.
And sometimes they'd spin it up where Vudu, iTunes, all the Google Video will have an exclusive feature you don't get anywhere else, and sometimes it'll just be on the Blu-ray. But I mean, let's be honest, I stream a lot from Vudu and iTunes, but there's no, the stream you're getting, even if it's 4K, is never going to match the quality you're going to get.
Right, yeah, no, there's
from that
just
Blu-ray.
technically the bandwidth is just not there yet. To get that. But
so for hardcore cinephiles that love, T2, this is probably the one to look out for in the future.
Is the arm, like, do you know if it's plastic or is it like an
metal
arm? Or
I don't think it's metal. I mean, it'd never be able to ship, but I want to know if it's posable, like if you can move the fingers and stuff. That would be really cool.
Oh, I can imagine the finger position that you would put it in.
Well, it is life size, so who knows? But either way, I would put it next to my T2 Ultimate Edition DVD box set that came out with the skull, and then look, I'm almost have a full T800.
Are you? I mean, and Richard, chime in here. Like, are you guys into those? I see that a lot, especially with the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff like that, or the Transformers, or I don't know. They always have these little collectible things where you put your disc in the head of Optimus Prime, or
I think I actually have that
or
first
Batmobile.
Transformer. I think I have that. Yeah.
Are you guys into those? Are you guys in? Or I never really got into that.
I used to be, and my Transformers case is one I love because it actually transforms into Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I have that one.
And then I've got an Iron Man case that the disc is in the Iron Man mask. But lately,
oh, that's cool.
Lately, I mean that was the old days. Lately, nah. I mean, $180 for a 50-minute special feature.
Well, $174.99.
new transfer, 4K transfer. I mean, even if you're just watching the Blu-ray, now you got to remember this was shot on like old Kodak film. I mean, and it was particularly like I remember watching one of the special features on this disc that Cameron picked this specific film stock because it was so grainy. So you're gonna get all that grain, and I mean, if Cameron's supervising the transfer, it's not getting smoothed out. Yeah, it's not getting smoothed out like the Predator Blu-ray was, which was atrocious. But
because if you go back, because I have the transfer, not to make this a Cameron podcast, but or a Cameron episode, but I have the Blu-ray transfer for Aliens, and oh my, I was blown away by how grainy it was.
They shot that whole
goodness.
Yeah, I mean, they just shot it like Ridley did in smoke and dark. It's all it was.
Right, but if you look at Ridley used a much cleaner film stock.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you actually went on that set, I bet it was a lot brighter than it looked.
Right.
However, on Cameron's Aliens set, I really do think they were lighting most of that with the torches, with the flashlights on their guns and on their shoulders. And you can tell because they had to use a much noisier film stock to get an exposure. And I was blown away how grainy it was. Not in a bad way. You just don't see that anymore. Everybody is everything has to be pristine and everything has to look so clean now. To have a movie that has such a unique look.
Well, it's got texture to it, and I think for something like, even Aliens and T2, stuff like that. That grain really, you got this futuristic world, but the grain is like making it in some way organic.
Yeah.
And you feel the texture of the movie, and then you just forget about it.
Well, Richard,
it's not
I mean,
distracting.
with the $22.99 version, just the standalone, would you jump into that?
Maybe. I already have it on DVD. I have the one that came in the metal case, but every once in a while, I'll put in a movie. The 4th of November, I'm always watching. 5th of November, I'm always watching a movie, and I'll throw it in, and those DVDs, they're not holding up as well as they used to. So
I know you love watching Euro Trip.
Yeah, that's
every
right.
November 4th.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some movies that I would upgrade, and I have upgraded. I recently got the Matrix set and a couple Lord of the Rings steel cases, I think, just to have them on Blu-ray, even though I already had the special edition. But really, I don't prefer the special edition. I wanted a theatrical version, so I said, might as well get it on Blu-ray.
Well, speaking of movies, Kenneth, you also had a trailer that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, just real quick. Comic-Con's starting this week, so a lot of trailers are dropping. And one of these trailers was for Guillermo del Toro's new film called The Shape of Water.
The Abe Sapien spinoff.
Yeah, so, I watched it and I was kind of blown away that, like, not only is it really Phil, it's Abe Sapien from the Hellboy series, but it's actually the same actor playing the role, which you probably couldn't find anybody else to do. It's Doug Jones, the guy that played the Fawn in Pan's Labyrinth.
He plays it's like Guillermo del Toro's like, I have you on retainer. Just come
pretty
with
much.
Me. He's his Andy Serkis. All right.
But I think it's obvious that in some way, you can watch the second Hellboy movie and see that Del Toro was really geared towards that character and really found that character super interesting. So I don't know, maybe he kind of just, this idea of a anthropomorphic sea man is not a new to Hollywood. So maybe he's always just had this fascination for that. But anyway, that's what the trailer's about. I just was gonna say it's out there, it's new, check it out. I think it's got a definite style to it. It's got I think it's got a really interesting mood in the trailer, and it's got some great actors in it. It's a little mini Boardwalk Empire reunion because you got Michael Shannon and Michael Sturlbarg. Not sure if that's how you pronounce his last name, but those two actors were both in Boardwalk, and they're great actors.
Yeah. Well, Shannon is a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah.
Always brings such a uniqueness to the role. Del Toro always brings it. I mean, I was looking at this and like images of Amelie came to mind, just with the color palette and some of the style and structure. It definitely has some elements of The Devil's Backbone. It definitely has some Pan's Labyrinth to it. I mean, it's very Del Toro.
And Del Toro also has, some great special features on his, and he always talks about his two favorite lighting gels are like this cool sea blue-green and this orange, and they're named something, and he has those gels. That's the gels he wants. And you look at all of his movies, especially like Devil's Backbone, Crimson Peak, Kronos. You look at those, and you can see those gels being used all the time. So I think
because he is not afraid of color.
No,
I mean, versus so many directors and so many DPs these days are so afraid of color, and he's definitely not.
But, I just was going to say, hey, check it out. It's out there.
It could be a cool little date movie because, unlike some of the other, I always found Del Toro, I mean, me and the wife, I took her to see Crimson Peak, and she really enjoyed that. And then I showed her Devil's Backbone and, of course, Pan's Labyrinth. It's scary, it's just kind of unsettling, but there's just something about his aesthetic that is wonderful.
And he reaches into the heart of these characters in such a way that you can't help but fall in love with the story of these guys sometimes,
Yeah, and he just brings, and it's probably just he's a different culture. He just kind of brings something unique to it, and he has got a unique passion for that storytelling. So it's a
Plus,
wonderful
Richard
thing.
Jenkins is wearing a sweet wig. The dad from Step Brothers.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, moving on, Richard, you had something that sounded pretty close, near and dear to my heart from being a guy of a certain age. Why don't you tell us about what you found?
Yeah. So I didn't know what I was going to talk about today until I jumped on Facebook and saw that apparently Nintendo, Nintendo had trademarked the symbol for what appears to be the N64 controller. And the reason that's significant is because they have used these symbols for their controllers, specifically on the NES Classic box. They're using it on the SNES Classic box that's coming this year. So everybody's speculating that there will be a N64 Classic coming at some point. And that really strikes home with me. I mean, I just can't wait. I can't imagine a box that might have Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye if we're lucky.
If we're lucky, that should be the only game that it comes with, if anything. It's like, here's GoldenEye. Here's Mario Kart and GoldenEye.
Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
The
list goes on.
Yeah, I mean, just some of the greatest hits are on.
What are they going to have? Conkers on there?
You know, they could, maybe. Although it's Xbox now.
Yeah.
The only problem is we'd still have to use that stupid controller. But
I was lucky enough to get an NES Classic Edition, and let's
son
just
of
be
a
honest.
bitch.
If you want to have all
You
the
beat me
games,
to it.
you can build you a little Arduino board, and you can get all the ROMs free offline if you found a place to legally download them, and you could do that. There's something about holding that little box in your hand that just brings you back to your childhood. And I haven't been lucky enough to get my hands on a pre-order for the SNES Classic, but you can be sure as all get out that I'm going to be trying my hardest for if they announce an N64, because that was just the prime of my video game life.
That was, that's me in high school with 4 guys hanging on a couch, just murdering each other in GoldenEye. And,
putting blankets up so that the other person couldn't see the split screen. That's what we would do.
I was the best in my group, and every once in a while
that sounds like something we can't actually verify on.
I know, isn't that
on
great?
the show? Yeah.
But every once in a while you'd play with somebody else's group or something, and I played with this guy once, and he knew the levels so well. He would run around staring at the ground. So if you tried to look at his screen, all you would see is ground moving by, and then he would look up at the last second and shoot you in the back of the head. And
so he would be looking at your screen, but he knew the map so well.
He knew the map so well. He didn't even have to look.
I know that I just have to go until I hit a wall, and then I take a sharp left, and then another left, and then boom, he's right there.
That's right.
And I'll get him.
Strafe the walls, and then sneak up. And you didn't know,
And that guy is the best manager of that KFC.
I don't know what he's up to.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just like, man, how do you take that skill set and make money at it?
Yeah.
Because that is kind of crazy.
So that's my glory days in $100 price tag, hopefully.
Yeah. Have they announced a price to it?
They haven't announced. Well, they haven't announced anything. All that has happened is that they've copyrighted the image of.
What's the top of the box?
Fake news is this? Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute, hold on. Let's back up here.
This is pre-news.
This is not Nintendo. This is not Nintendo. This is not Nintendo coming out and saying, "Hey, we're making this." This is somebody found a patent.
This is Nintendo.
They trademarked
the image of the controller, which, if using the transitive property.
Yes,
you can apply to
because the way they signify those other systems is it just shows a picture of the controller and says the word classic underneath it. and that is technically the name of the system if you're looking at it on the spine of the box.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if they had that controller and just put the word classic on it, that's all she wrote.
And why wouldn't they?
Okay.
It's free money.
I mean, yeah, no, at this point, I really don't understand why it's not on my iPhone. But
because it's free money.
Yeah.
Because if you're good at doing something, why do it for free?
Exactly. All right. Well, moving on to now my news of this week. And Disney had their D23 Expo in Los Angeles. And there was a lot of interesting stuff coming out of D23. But the thing that, there's movies and talking about, Marvel and blah, blah, and Star Wars, stuff like that. The thing that caught my eye, though, was Disney has announced that they are going to have a Star Wars hotel in Orlando. And this thing kind of blows my mind. Apparently, from what they're saying, guests are going to be, I guess, issued or given, or you can rent. I don't know what the specifics are, but you will get Star Wars costumes. You will be a character. You will have a storyline. They will have people in the hotel. Like, apparently there's points where you may be chased by bounty hunters, where you're given missions. Yeah, you get a storyline, and you get to play it out. Apparently all the windows are blacked out, but they look like basically you're on a spaceship. They look like you're in the vacuum of space. This just kind of like blew my mind that this. I'm kind of bummed that it's not in California, but I've already got my plane ticket to go to Florida for this.
Well, there's just so much more land in Florida that they have. There's not as much room.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, you're the expert on Disney, Kenneth. So
my wife is, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I defer to you on this.
Through the transitive property, you are.
Through the transitive properties.
But I think they're also doing a Marvel one.
They are.
Which is cool too.
That one did not sound nearly as entertaining though.
No, this one's like, I'm looking at the pictures here. And
the concept art, if people haven't seen it, they should Google it and find it because the concept art is killer. And of course, you'll have the Star Wars, their Star Wars land or whatever they're calling it that they're building out there. But
Edge or something.
Now they say that they're going to limit the stay. Well, visitors will only be able to stay 3 days and 2 nights in a row. Uh-huh. And it'll cost between $900 to $1,000 per guest for 2 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not...
It's a premium.
Yeah. No, it definitely falls within their luxury bracket of their resorts.
Yeah. It falls really into like the not only the luxury but like the part where you get like a little kitchenette. So like, it's not the smaller hotels like the Art of Animation or anything like that. I mean, this isn't really like a hotel. It's an experience. It's a ride hotel.
Right. It's a ride that lasts 2 days.
It's LARPing.
It really is. Yeah, no, it's LARPing, it's cosplay, it's all those great things. The question really is, are you going to take your family or are you going to send them off to another hotel?
The question is,
all right, honey, I'm going to be there for 2 days. I'm going to play Lando.
Y'all are in the campgrounds. I'll see you on Friday.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're gonna play somebody, Han and Lando are the ones because they're gonna be the ones having the most fun, no matter what.
Absolutely.
All right, so
that's why I want Lando.
Wyatt, my question is, if you had the choice between this experience, a Star Trek experience, or a Mass Effect experience, which one would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I would. Well, definitely the Star Wars, because no doubt the Star Wars. Because I'm still bitter about Mass Effect 3. But
I'm playing the new one.
Yeah, I'm. I
and it's
them. Yeah. Well, exactly. If everybody had come out and said, "Is it Andromeda?" Mass Effect Andromeda is what it's called. If it had come out and they were like, "This is return to what makes Mass Effect great, I would have been like, all right, here's my money. But when everybody came out and they're like, meh, they may fix it, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, well, before we move on, I would just say last thing about it. The gameplay's there. The story is just not as gripping as Commander Shepard.
Sure.
In the first two.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, this seems like, I mean, I don't know. I'm really, this Star Wars.
There's going to be holograms or something. I mean, I'm looking at these concept art and
There's probably going to be like little BB-8s running around and R2's
R2's little BB-8s. They're going to, like, that's how you're going to get your room key. A little BB-8's going to come up and the little thing's going to pop out with your key fob on it.
Bringing your luggage up to your room. And
little trash can droids walking around. Little, what do they call
the little mouse droids?
Mouse droids?
The little mouse droids, yeah. You yell at it, it runs away.
To answer your question, Richard, I would also go with Star Wars unless the Star Trek experience had an actual working holodeck. But, I think we're a few years away from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like Star Wars. I mean, I love Star Trek for its political commentary, its good storytelling. I don't necessarily want to live in that world, though. I like the laser swords and the space wizards.
The dystopian future of the Empire and all that follow their order.
You prefer Star Wars political commentary.
Exactly. It feels more current.
About trade federations and blockades and
exactly
whatever.
Everything a 10-year-old boy loves. Trade disputes
and fart jokes.
But so I think that this Star Wars hotel is a great jumping off point to our main topic today, which is summer vacation ideas, and then also just if you guys have any suggestions or tips for dads out there to help them kind of get through to have a good vacation, because it's our vacation too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a RecommenDADtion or RecommenDAD vacation spot, but I'll save that for towards the end. But
that's for the end. But I mean, just in terms of, do you guys have a go-to? All right, I know this works. The planning's kind of already done. I know it's a lock. The family loves it. Or are you guys more of every single vacation is an adventure, and we definitely do something different, and we never kind of touch the same rock twice? Like, where do you guys fall on that?
I kind of fall a little bit in between. We're trying to branch out and find new and fun things to do as a family now, as the kids are getting out of diapers and stuff. But we are very much like Disney people. And, once you go to Disney and you can plan a different experience there every time, and I'm not talking about like a hotel experience like the Star Wars thing, just based on the park you go, the way you plan your trip, you can have even where you stay just in a regular hotel, what's around it. So, we kind of leave sometimes going, oh, I wish we wouldn't have been able to do that this time. And we'll say, well, next time. So actually, we're planning a trip for January 2018. And then I think we're also planning a trip for October 2018. So, yeah, I mean, we just love Disney so much. I mean, the kids love it. I think it's a really good bang for your buck for the kids. And we enjoy it a lot, too.
Okay. Well, what about you, Richard? Where do you kind of fall on that? Are you somebody that we kind of, at this time of year, every year, I know when to ask off. I know how much it's going to cost. I know, the plan's kind of set and done, or, is every single vacation, kind of a different crazy adventure?
I don't know. My life's been kind of hectic the last couple of years. I think we're still recovering from our trip to Disney 3 years ago. But I mean, we've done a lot, I guess, in kind of the flip side of this with staycations. We've done some some vacations, and one thing my wife's been really good at is we'll do like a Airbnb or some service like that, and she'll rent, like, we went up to Dallas once and we rented a whole house because we've got a bunch of kids and we need a bunch of rooms depending on how many babies we have at the time or whatever, and it just helps to have a place with a like full-size kitchen and refrigerator and you know, kind of the amenities of home when you're away from home. So we've done that. I've got family up in Dallas, so we'd gone up there and we did the Six Flags thing because the kids had earned some stuff reading books through the school year. So we rewarded them with that. We had a good time. And the Airbnb, I don't even know if it was Airbnb. It might have been a competitive site, but that was a great way to move everybody, but still kind of have what you're used to and be able to control the situation rather than, you know, a kitchenette in a hotel and everybody kind of on top of each other. And it was at a reasonable price, which is big for us. But even since then...
Oh, yeah, it's big for anybody.
Yeah. Even since then, and since Disney, we've kind of done low-key stuff. We'll do more of the staycation, maybe small... you know, we'll go to Moody Gardens or Schlitterbahn or go over to... one of our secrets, there's a place just across the border. Sulphur, Louisiana has a...
Texas border, not the United States-Mexico border.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sulphur, Louisiana
no walls there.
has a little Parks and Rec department with a water park. And you would think it'd be this piddly... It's more than just a splash pad. It's like... And it's grown. It's kind of a small Schlitterbahn. And it doesn't cost much. And it's just small.
Which is a giant water park.
Yeah.
Schlitterbahn is just like a huge, huge water park.
And you know that brings another thing up. But anyways, this place it's just small enough that you can like let your kids run free, but still be able to kind of keep an eye on them. Feel that it's safe, that nobody's, you know, like Schlitterbahn, it's broken up into multiple locations. You know, if you let them run free, you may not see them again. But this place is pretty cool. Another thing that we've kind of made it a habit of doing, speaking of Schlitterbahn, is Schlitterbahn over spring break when the water's still cold, when it's still cold outside, they'll open up Schlitterbahn, actually only a quarter of it. They don't open up the whole park, but only a quarter of it, and it's at a fraction of the price, which means a lot because we've got a bunch of kids, and then adds up. And it's all kind of heated and indoors, and they've got it kind of the way that they have it set up. It's real comfortable even when it's cold outside, and it's something we're able to do on. I mean, it's not summer vacation, but on spring break we can still go and have fun.
Is the water heated?
In some areas.
Oh,
and you tend to appreciate those areas, but
yeah.
The air is heated. I mean, they've got heaters and they've got tarps down everywhere. And it's not because we go to Schlitterbahn in Galveston, so it's not that ice cold river water, which helps too.
Yeah.
So kind of what I'm gathering from what I've just heard you guys, maybe some advice for people out there is like, one, you know, the looking at Airbnb, looking at a house, like having space or even getting a second room may not be a bad idea. Just, you know, get your kids, have some space so you can have some distance, because sometimes when you're on top of each other in a hotel, it just makes it, you know, the kids maybe don't care, but they get a little grumpy and then you just become miserable.
And that's
or your wife becomes miserable. But if you have a house, it's like, all right, you know, you can go grab your iPad and go in the other room and just kind of have some you time, or just like it's a little bit more like being home.
Well, what's good about it is like when you have little kids that maybe go to bed at 8:30, that means the whole family doesn't have to go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we just got back from a vacation And it was kind of a little bit of a staycation. I mean, we did fly out to Florida on the Atlantic side.
I believe that is the definition of not a staycation.
Well, I call it a staycation only because every year my wife's family for like 25 years now has been going to this one section of beach and getting a condo. They used to do it when they were all kids. Well, now as the family's grown and there's grandkids, we'll plan a week and everybody goes and we each get our own condo. And we usually don't plan to do anything except be at the condo, and we may plan what we're going to do for dinner for everybody. But that's what we did. We actually went to Florida and just did nothing on a beach condo except go out on the beach in the morning and relax. Just there.
Okay, I totally get that, but that is not a staycation. That is not the definition. Just because you stay around one area does not register it as a staycation. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, those are sometimes over planning. Where every minute, and I'm guilty of this, of really over planning the vacation. Where it's like, okay, we're gonna wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we're gonna at 8:32 we're out the door.
Yeah,
breakfast is at 8:42. We're on the shuttle at 9, and one kid oversleeping. You just can't get the 4-year-old out of bed. It's like, well, that day's shot, and then you're already stressing out because you're like, we're supposed to do this and this and this, and I don't know, maybe that's just because. Yeah, that's what I do for a job, but I plan stuff.
And my
wife's really great about that. She plans where we're going for all the meals and where when we're going to Disney, what we're doing. But I think the trick is to be flexible. If you miss something, you miss something, and it's not about a schedule. For the most part, it's about having fun. So I think it's a good plan to have a plan, but if you don't stick to it, that's okay.
I think that's true in most situations. I mean, I'm real, if I'm on vacation, I'm going to enjoy my time off. However, unless you go to Disney. When we went to Disney, we're getting up at this time. We got to be there at this time. We got to hit this ride. We got to
Daddy worked overtime for this.
Lunch here. Yeah. It's Disney's the one exception, and Disney will break you. We went to Disney a couple of years ago. I joke. I mean, it's true though. I went to Disney with my parents and my kids, and when we went, my mom was in a wheelchair, and when we came back, both my mom and my dad were in wheelchairs. So Disney can be brutal.
I mean, there's a lot of walking.
Good golly, man.
Yeah, it's
you got to have some good cement shoes, and if you've got young kids under the age of 5. Get the stroller, or over the age of 5. Just get the stroller because they're gonna get tuckered out.
Yep.
You may still want to keep going.
Now, Kenneth, when y'all go to Disney, do you play by ear, or do you have a plan and you execute it?
We have a plan,
okay,
and we attempt to execute it. The goal is we're gonna go here in the morning and do whatever we want, and then we're gonna be at lunch at this place, and then after that we're doing this. But we try not to execute it in such a way where it's, if you miss something, you miss it, but, sometimes the kids may not want to do something. So it's, it's just, like I said, it's about having fun. And we have certain things we know the kids are going to want to do, or we'll go and get fast passes so that we can have it later, or we know we're going to go later. So we'll get the fast passes in the morning and stuff like that. But I think the thing for us is we always have a plan. We have a budget that we try to stick into. Budget's a little more inflexible than the plan, but if the plan doesn't happen exactly as it has to, that's okay. We always have some idea of, if this doesn't work out, we can do this. So it's always, like I said, it's always good to have a plan, and if you can't stick to it, no worries.
Well, and going to that, I mean, Richard, you've how many kids did you bring? Would you bring 3 to Disney?
Yeah, pretty much 2 and a young, a 2-year-old. So a
2-year-old,
which is kind of limiting. I mean, but it gave us, the benefit was he was young enough that we could do a baby swap. So all the kids got to ride.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so
but
baby
it sounds awful.
No, it's pretty awesome because basically all the kids got to ride every ride twice. What it is that my wife and the kids get on a ride while I stay with the baby, and then when she gets off, she takes the baby, and then I get to ride with the kids. So it's really cool. And I'm telling you, like, our kids rode every ride twice.
Yeah.
So you had grandmother in the wheelchair, which probably got you close to the front of the line. And then you did a baby swap. People hated you.
Yeah. And plus Fast Pass, dude, it's Disney. Dude, it's
you got to get
the free for all. It's
Disney.
whatever, man.
It's war, man.
What would you say? I mean, not to make this too much about Disney, but I haven't brought.
It's there, man. That's what this is. This is about Disney now.
Yeah, I know. This has been about Disney since the news. I haven't brought my son there yet. What is the good age to bring them? You know, what is too young? What is that kind of sweet spot age where you're like, I'm not bringing, you know, the tactical backpack full of diapers and wipies and stuff like that. You know, what is that age where the dad and mom can have fun as well as the kid?
I think it's important to I'm afraid Colin might have been too young because we did all that stuff, we paid for all that stuff, and I don't think he's going to remember it. You need to find, and I bet it's a mix with every kid. Whatever it is, right before that magic kind of wears off, you know, right before, you know, they're too cool for Disney. Which I don't know if really anybody is, but maybe I've got a preteen in the house almost. I think he would still get a kick out of Disney, but you know, if it's still a big deal, if, you know, the magic and everything is still a big deal, watching Tinkerbell fly overhead, if that's going to wow them, then that's the age you want to go.
And I don't have a whole lot of room. And I don't have a whole lot of room to talk on this because both my daughter had been to Disney before she was 3, like at least 4 times.
Jeez. But I mean, would you say
my son's been once, and he was not even a year old the last time we went.
Right, but would you say that it's, you know, I've got an 18-month-old. Is that worth it? Or yeah.
If you just have an 18-month-old, it's probably not worth it for the kid unless you want to go, and you got to take the 18-month-old with you. But there's gonna be something that they're gonna see if they're up and walking around. They're gonna, you know, they're not gonna enjoy it to the extent like say my 3-year-old did. Last time we went, my daughter was 3. She was just getting through potty training really good, so we weren't doing, you know, diapers for her or anything like that. We were for my son, but you know, she's getting to the age where she really knows things about it and wants to talk about it now, and she's going to be 4 in September, so she's all about it now. Gotcha. So she's probably like at the prime right now for being in that wonderment stage and knowing enough to want to go without, you know, not seeing the man behind the curtain type thing. But my son loves it too. He knows who Mickey Mouse is. He loves Mickey Mouse. That's, you know, we're, like I said, we're Disney nerds here. But, you know, I wouldn't say like someone like you, who's not a Disney nerd, that just wants to take their kid for the benefit of the kid, probably in the, you know, once they're getting in the potty trained, they can walk, you know, for a while by themselves and then have the stroller for when they get tired. And then, but if they're younger than that and you're not all hyped up about it, it might not be worth it because you're just going to be pushing around in the stroller, you know?
Gotcha. Well, kind of moving away from Disney now, something that's maybe a little controversial that I was looking up stuff about summer vacations, and something that's kind of trending right now is the free day for the parents, where mom will go off by herself for a day, or dad will, or dad will. Oh, hey, I mean, I'm bringing this up.
That is madness.
Where you know, where it's like, all right, you have a day that you can do whatever you want, and mom will take the kids, and and dad can do, he can go skydive, or he can go rock climb, or he can do whatever. And then dad takes the kid the next day and mom does the spa, or she does the rock climbing, or the...
Katie and I kind of do some of that. I probably get away with it a little more than she does because she's so awesome. She's like, yeah, babe, go do this or go do that. Get out of the house, because I work at home. And so she just wants me like out of the house sometimes, obviously. But, every once in a while she has some things that she wants to go spend a day doing. Either
I think she wants you out of the house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Get out of the house.
But let's say that you went on a vacation.
I did. I went on a vacation right at the beginning of summer with my two cousins. We went camping to a place we'd never been. We researched it. We were gone for like 4 days. And my wife was like, yes, go do this. It sounds amazing. She doesn't like camping. I wanted her to go. I was like, let's do this. And she was like, no, I don't want to go. So she was like, you go. And I went, and it was like my cousins went. We were all trying to get our wives to go. One of my cousins is married, and my other cousin has his lady friend. We're all trying to get him to go. And then when they just were falling like dominoes, man, they didn't want to go. So we were like, well, we're going. And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. You are going to go camping. And then all of a sudden we were like, all right, here's where we're going, when we're going, and how long we're going to be gone. They were like, wait, you're really going? And so we did, and we went to the kind of the southwest corner of the Ozark National Forest, a little place called White Rock Mountain. Really, really great camping spot, that White Rock Mountain. It's got a great view. It's got some great campsites with views.
Well, do you think that, not to cut you off, but do you think that doing that, like, is that good for, for your sanity or for your marriage? Like, did you see any benefit to that? And did you kind of, in turn, did you give your wife the ability to go and do a girls' weekend then? Or how do you kind of make sure that that's going to, one, it's keep you sane, but also keep your marriage strong?
Yeah, I mean, my wife is free to do that when she wants, I'd like to say, but she's really apprehensive sometimes about doing that. But she has in the past planned a weekend out to like Galveston with some girlfriends, or she goes and does stuff with her mom and her sister and stuff like that, around here, or take a little day trip somewhere. But that's the deal. I was like, whenever you want to go do something, go. But I don't know. I think she'd miss the kids probably a little more than I did. And because I was all about, like, I want to get out of the house. Like I said, I work from home, all that kind of stuff. So it was nice to get away. Now, it was probably, in retrospect, a little bit of a long trip, but we did have to, like, drive a day there and drive a day back. So we ended up only having basically, like, 3 days. But yeah, I would, it doesn't have to be a super long thing, but I would recommend that for parents. If you can't get out and do something together, can't find someone to watch the kids, like Richard was saying about the Disney rides. Sometimes either you go do something with the kids, mom goes do something else, vice versa. That can be a little bit of a stress reliever and can make you kind of take stock of what you have.
Well, Richard, you kind of balked at the idea when I first brought it up. I mean, would you plan that? Let's say that you guys went on a week-long trip somewhere, and would you say, like, okay, honey, Thursday is daddy day, and I'm going to go do X or Y? One, I would love to see you actually ask your wife
those words.
That. Can I have some popcorn and videotape it? Because I want to see you get smacked around a little bit. But, what's your feeling on that?
Yeah, here's the thing. And I know between the three of us, we all do things a little differently. And our situations are all a little different. With me and my wife, at least for me, we've got 4 kids, so that makes it harder. It makes it harder to just go. And I always have a feeling of, a responsibility to, if she's there with 4 kids, then I have dropped the ball. And and kind of on the flip side of that,
literally,
yeah. And on the flip side of that, I guess, so our mentality is more like we're doing things. We make more of an effort to do everything together, and spend time together and make those memories together, than we do, carving out time by ourselves. Because we enjoy spending time with each other. I mean, we enjoy spending time by ourselves, but just logistically, it's tougher to do. So within that reality, we make it work the best we can, and that means, we're all doing this together. We're all going to share the responsibility. She's watching the kids, I'm helping her watch the kids. We're all going to do this together, and that's how we're going to make our memories. Now there are times like she'll go off and do something, or occasionally I'll go off and do something, and we try to make that as convenient on the other person as possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I've got an older son, and we'll go camping, and I kind of justify that because I'm taking at least one with me. But like I said, all our situations are different. Your lives aren't my lives, but that's just kind of how we have made our lives work.
But do you think that, just for other dads out there, it's like maybe this is something that if they are feeling that they need that little separation, and maybe they're not in a situation where they are putting so much on, because 4 kids,
yeah,
that is a lot for one person to bear, even for a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if it's, if it's at home, that's one thing. It's difficult, but it's
just
doable. Yeah, exactly. But if
I don't know about your guys' kids, but my kids are good, so they just do.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's easy.
Oh no, I've got one. He acts like 3. Like he's ninja when it comes to that. But and he will tear anything up. But so it's just kind of interesting to hear you guys talk about that. And what I kind of gather from is like, if you feel that you need that, talk to your spouse.
Yeah, if you need it. Make it
bring
work.
that up. There's no shame. There's no shame in doing that.
And the way it works for us is we have things that we love to do together, and then we have things that each of us like, but the other one kind of I won't say the word really tolerates, but enjoys that the other person enjoys it. And I don't know. It was great to go on a little vacation without everybody, and then like I said, realize what I missed, and be like, come home, ready to come home and see my wife and kids, and remember why I'm there.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly. And I don't know if she, and we feel that way when we go on vacations together too. I love you. This was just great fun as a family. We So I think it can work both ways, but I think it depends on the relationship and obviously, the number of rugrats you got.
Well, I think what works great in your situation is that, your cousins are like your brothers, and that's like male bonding time for you. And from what I understand, you were experiencing something you hadn't experienced before. So that all of that kind of plays a factor in.
Yeah.
That was I can understand that. That makes sense to me.
And it was also kind of like one of my
like
cousins.
A guy's weekend. Yeah.
It was like a long guy's weekend. He just found out recently that his wife's going to have their first child. So it was kind of like a little bit of his last hurrah before, he's in the dad
before
show.
It all falls apart.
And we didn't do anything crazy, but we just we used to go camping. We were younger a lot, and we don't see each other as much. So that's kind of what it was. And we talked about was like, I can't wait till we get older, and we have our our sons or daughters come with us. They want to come camping with us. Lord knows if our wives are going to come, but if they want to come camping. But yeah, we were just looking forward to being like, man, it'll be great to be out here with the family,
Awesome.
And sometimes that's good for a dad to go check out something first and then be like, all right, here's how we need to do it.
It's like, oh, I will never. We don't need to go there. There's snakes. We do not need to go there. There's spiders this big. It's insane. Well, that brings us, I believe, to the end of our summer vacation talk. I mean, I think that's something that.
Hey, one thing I just want to throw out there. I mentioned Airbnb earlier, and one of the reasons we went down that road is because, it costs less to get an entire house than it would to rent one hotel room that was large
or a
enough,
suite,
or multiple to handle all the kids. So even just from like a cost-effective standpoint, it made sense to do rent a whole house on Airbnb, then or whatever we did. Then
I am a huge proponent of Airbnb. I use them all the time. I find that, and there's also something about when
like
you
being at a house.
Well, but you get to go into a neighborhood, and there's something about living in a house for 3 days a week, a month if you're lucky, if you can actually do a vacation that long. But if even a week, you get to go to where the locals go. You get to go and hang out where they hang out, versus hotels are usually around tourist traps. Yeah. And they typically jack up the price of everything, or you can't find a grocery store with the simple things that you want. But I don't
recommend
Airbnb
that for Disney though.
Well, Disney,
you can do it though.
As we've covered, Disney is its own. It's its own Normandy. You got to plan that sucker out before
but I do
you take
recommend
that
it
beach.
if you're going to Florida and you get the little kitchenette, get your groceries delivered to the hotel room, man. That's one thing that Disney's really good about. And check your baggage at the hotel.
That's probably a good
if you're
call.
flying.
And
that's a really big tip. Go to I think we used Publix. My wife set up. We had groceries waiting in our hotel room when we checked in.
All right, we're going to have a whole podcast about
Disney.
What are the secrets to surviving the Disney trip.
Yeah, check your baggage at the hotel, and they will get it on your flight for you. It's the best thing ever.
Awesome. Well, moving on, guys. Great discussion. We're going to have to table that for now, but I do think that we have a show idea here of how to survive Disney and keep your sanity as a dad. Moving on to our next segment, RecommenDADtion, where we recommend what we found this week. So who wants to go first? Let's see. Richard, do you want to go first?
Do it, Richard.
Okay. My RecommenDADtion this week, one for the dads, is I have started checking out the Castlevania series on Netflix. It is 4 episodes of 25 minutes long. I am 2 episodes in, and it's based on the old Konami. I mean, it's current, I guess, but the Konami video game of the same name, and it's kind of an anime style, and it's got some heavy, some big actor names in it. Richard Armitage, and he's in it, and it's kind of in the.
There's your name.
Yeah. There may be others. It's in the style. It's an anime. And it is not for kids. It is wicked violent and pretty good. That's my suggestion.
Now,
what about those dads Vampire Hunter D if you're into anime?
Yeah, exactly.
From the trailer I've seen and stuff like that, it has kind of that elongated, gothic horror kind of style.
So what about those dads out there who remember the original game, but they're not anime people?
Well,
would you say it has an appeal for those guys?
What was the story other than guy with whip Simon goes fights Dracula?
So I remember Castlevania, but I don't watch anime. So watch.
Then if you don't watch anime, I don't know if this is for you, but if it does, it's if you do, or if you enjoy those games, check it out because it's
Well, in style wise, Richard, there's a couple different styles of anime where there's the Japanese version, which has a very distinct story structure. And then there's kind of more the Western style, which feels a lot more like a movie that you would see at the cinema. Like the story structure just feels, and everything feels a little bit more Western, culturally speaking. Would you say that do you know what I'm talking about? And where does this kind of fall in between those?
I don't know. We might have to discuss that later. I would say that, I've seen some anime. Some of it's really out there. This one kind of follows a story. I mean, you're introduced to Dracula, and you get to see why he's doing what he's doing and who's going to stop him. And I mean, it's kind of all laid out. And like I said, it's 4 25-minute episodes, so it's it's easy to jump.
That's not too long at all. Then.
Yeah, it's easy to jump into. I mean, at least try the first episode, and if you can stomach it, move on, because.
So Richard Armitage was a dwarf in the Hobbit movies, and then the guy that's voicing Dracula was also a dwarf in the Hobbit movies.
Was he?
Graham McTavish.
Oh, okay.
Oh, of course, Graham McTavish, the beloved character.
And I only know that because I have all 3 of those Hobbit movies only for the special features. Good special features, okay movies.
Yeah, not so great movie.
Yeah.
All right, and then did you have one for the family, Richard?
Oh, yeah. So as of July 18th, Rogue One is now on Netflix. So if you haven't seen Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, it may not be family friendly, maybe not everybody, but the majority, if you're into Star Wars, I think you'll get a kick out of Rogue One.
Just stop it right before the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's PG. It's PG, right?
It might be PG-13. I mean,
I don't know.
I bet that.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You know what? I bet it's PG. I bet it's PG because it's pretty. It's pretty bloodless.
You think? I mean, I think that last 10 minutes might put it over the edge. I'm gonna look it up.
I know, but they edit around the violence pretty well, and then most of the getting shot are stormtroopers, and
yeah.
We could go into like they're not dead, they're knocked out. But that's
PG-13. It is PG-13.
It is PG-13. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was Now the rest of the Star Wars, except for Episode 3, was PG-13. But I mean, yeah, it was PG-13. But the rest of them are PG, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that right?
You gotta roast a guy in lava and
maybe Force Awakens is PG-13, maybe. But this one, this does have some,
Oh,
it
that's
deals,
true. I don't know.
It does deal with, some death themes, so that may be part of it,
True. And oh my goodness. And I have already watched that movie several times, and I'm still perplexed by the story structure. But that's neither here nor there. That's not for this podcast.
That'll be for the Star Wars show.
Yeah, that's for we've already done enough Star Wars news. We've
this
already
is the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
This is the D23 Star Wars show.
Yeah. With one piece of news. All right, Kenneth, your turn. What do you have for us?
Okay, so Kenneth's RecommenDADtions this week. For the dad, I just recently finished watching a new HBO documentary series called The Defiant Ones. It's kind of a documentary on 2 guys. One's Dr. Dre, and the other is Jimmy Iovine, who is a record producer. And him and Dr. Dre ended up starting Beats. And, I mean, you know Dr. Dre, NWA, he's just been around forever.
Yeah, and if you know anything about the record industry,
and if
Jimmy Iovine, you know that name.
You know who he is. But he's just kind of been in a lot, from like Bruce Springsteen, U2, all these guys, up and through starting his own label and everything like that. So, but it's interesting because it's a documentary. It's kind of told in tandem. Each episode's an hour long. It's definitely not for the kids, just for dad or mom too. And I'm not a big Dr. Dre fan, but I thought that this was an interesting documentary series. It tells kind of from the beginning of each of their careers in tandem in each episode until they kind of meet and go forth like that. But I think it's got a really good structure to it, and it's just really interesting if you're at all interested in entertainment or the music industry, period. It's just good entertainment otherwise, but I would recommend it for dad. There is some language and obviously maybe a tiny bit of nudity, showing some old rap videos and stuff like that.
Woo!
So definitely keep the kiddos out of the room.
Woohoo! Late 80s, early 90s rap videos. Yeah.
Also, for the family, I'm going to recommend an app. We just recently got my daughter this app on her iPad, and she's gangbusting it, man. It's called ABCmouse.com Early Learning Academy.
As seen on TV.
I've heard of this. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about
all
this.
Over the place. And we got it for my daughter, or say my wife did, and then I found out about it, and I was like, okay. And then I had my daughter show me around in it. It's got like a classroom. It's got like a classroom section of the app. It's got a game section. It's got an art section, all these different things. And my daughter just like she's like, I want to go to class and see my teacher and learn stuff. And she's just like gung-ho about learning new things. And I kind of, it may just be some, fog in the mirror or something like that. But I kind of feel like, maybe her vocabulary has increased, and she definitely got better with a little better with numbers and a lot better with colors from it. And she's like I said, she's almost 4. We thought she was colorblind, but she just didn't care. She didn't care what color something was.
Yeah.
But she's really
my son was the same. He's the same way about his letters. Like, he knows all of them. He really just does not care. And when you try to do the alphabet thing, he's just like, I really don't like.
But let's
go play something else.
We've got her apps before that are just games, but this one's different. I mean, she will go get her
now,
iPad.
Is it a subscription? Is it a subscription service, or is it you buy it one time and you own the app?
It is a subscription. But
okay, and how much is it a month?
Basically, they start at like $7.95 a month. They have a lot of deals where you can get your first month free, or you can pay for a year outright kind of thing and get a big discount. There's lots of different things going on there, and obviously we're not sponsored by these guys or anything like this. It's just something that we came across.
But you've seen, how long has she been using it?
Maybe a couple of months now.
And you do see some, I mean, even if it's anecdotal, I mean, you think you're seeing something?
Oh, definitely.
That's awesome.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, besides they have game sections, they got books, she likes the songs parts, which are teaching them about letters and stuff like that. But she really likes going to the classroom, and they have these little games with the teacher, and we haven't gotten into trying to do math or anything like that. She's a little young for that section of the app just yet, I think. But the app's it's what they call a learning path. So they have these different levels, and they assign them ages, and you can kind of set the app up how you think your kid's going to use it. And then when it just becomes so easy for them, you can kick it up a level,
Nice.
But yeah, check it out. There's abcmouse.com, and it's got all kinds of information.
Great. Now this show has already cost me money. Thanks. I've got to save up for the $179 or $180 for the T2, and now I've got to put out $8 a month for abcmouse.com. Fantastic. Thanks, Kenneth. You're breaking me.
No,
at least
no
Richards was free.
And go to Disney.
Yeah, and I have to go to Disney, and I have to keep my Netflix subscription. Well, mine this week is now you guys have to buy something. For the family, we are always, the iPad is key for the kid. Cell phones are always dying. So on Amazon, the Anker PowerCore 2100 is a fantastic mobile battery that you can plug in any iPhone, Android phone into your iPad. It has a quick charge on it, does really great. Been using it for a couple of months, has saved road trips, saved my sanity on the road many a times. Just putting that on it's a good size, so it goes in the backpack. Good for travel, good for the kid. Put them in the back, keep their iPad charged, keep you sane. So that's for the family.
I was checking this thing out. I have a couple of these little battery chargers. And what is interesting about this one, Anker's a pretty great brand right now. They've got a lot of different of these kind of things.
Yeah, I have several of them. Love this.
About this one is it's really no bigger than like an iPhone 7. But I'm reading the details here. You can charge your iPhone 7 up to 7 times.
Yeah.
Or your iPad mini.
I mean, it's a little bigger than that.
Twice.
I will say also too, it will charge the new MacBook. Like it'll charge one of those too. Yeah. No, which is fantastic because it's great because then I'm just walking around. I'm like, all right, I got my MacBook and I just plug in this thing. I'm like, done and done. I get all day plus.
Wait, does your MacBook charge over USB?
Well, I've got I have several Mac. I have my Mac, not my MacBook Pro, but my MacBook. Yeah, it's the new one with the USB-C that comes through. Okay. Right. Yeah. So yeah, no, you can charge from this thing. It's crazy. Wow. That's when I take it on business trips and stuff like that. It's actually, so that's.
I got one of these recently, not this brand, but a similar device when I went camping. Because I've gone camping a couple of times and you don't get any service out there. Well, but it also kills the battery. Not that you don't get service, but you're going to kill the battery.
It's always looking.
It's going to kill your phone faster. So,
and then also if you're going on a trip, I mean, keeping with our theme of vacation, the road trip is good. Also, you're using your camera phone a lot more. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or you're using, because like I've got my little Sony point and shoot that I keep on my hip pretty much all the time. That thing I can charge, I got the little micro USB, boom, I can charge with, this thing will charge anything.
This thing's shooting out almost 5 amps.
Yeah, no, it will charge almost anything. It's great. So that's my recommendation for that. For Dad is a game on Steam. You can also get it on the Xbox One, but I'm playing it on the Mac on Steam. It's called Subnautica. I am addicted to this game. And actually, this is a great game because you can play it in front of your kids, or your kids can watch you play it, because the concept is that it's a Robinson Crusoe. Is that right?
Robinson?
The Robinson Crusoe? That's right.
I don't know.
DJ Caruso.
That's right.
Yeah, DJ. Yeah. But it's a sci-fi story. You crash land on an alien planet. You're the sole survivor, and it's a water planet. It's a water world. And you have limited resources, limited materials. You're scavenging stuff from your crashed, like, huge spaceship. You're salvaging stuff from it. There's creatures in the ocean that are trying to kill you. There's alien structures that you find.
So is it a shooter, though, kind of?
No, it's a survival game.
Okay.
You are building you're gathering resources, you're
Survivor Man, the game in space.
Well, it has a little bit of, because you can set on multiple difficulty levels. One of them is like permadeath, which I'm on now. I started one where I could die and it would just reset me, and then I kind of figured out the mechanics of it, and now I'm on the permadeath.
So version. Permadeath, turn and run away, just
exactly. Exactly. As soon as anything a shark comes next to me, or some huge creatures, and I'm in my little sub, or I'm in a wetsuit. And
now, is this a free game?
No, it's
Steam community.
It's like I got it on sale for like $10, but I think it's like normally like $20. It's on.
Okay, yeah.
It's in like pre-beta now.
Okay.
But they've, it's a small developer, but it's not very expensive.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'd love to play it.
It's very
I'm still
pretty.
Fallout 4.
It's very pretty. Yeah, no, it's definitely not Fallout 4. And because the only thing really is like, sharks are attacking you, but it's like cartoon, it's video gamey, cartoony looking. And you're building a lot of stuff. So with that, the boy comes over and he's like, "What are you playing, Dad?" And he's like, "That looks cool." And then I'm upgrading my station, and I'm asking him like, "Oh, what should we do? Should we go do this, go do that? Oh, look, we're hungry. We got to go fish. Oh, look, we're dehydrated. We need to go get water. Oh, we're cold, we're hot. We got to figure this out." It's all that kind of managing stuff. So you're not necessarily, killing something. You're just trying to survive. And that's what I really like about it. And it's kind of, sadly, when it boots up, it tells you like how many hours you put into it. I'm like, oh no. It can't be. It can't be. Where did those days go?
If only those hours were billable hours.
Exactly. If only I could get paid for playing this. But it's a great little, breakaway. I do think that, we all need something, either it's a movie or a book or a run, something that separates us and lets us kind of decompress. And that's right now, that's mine. And I love it because if the kid wakes up and I'm, he wanders into the room, he sees me playing it. He's not like, Daddy, what are those demons on the screen that you're shooting? Or, why is that? It's like, why is that on the screen? It's something kind of innocent.
And you're teaching him about permadeath.
Exactly. It's like, there's this thing in your brain called flight or flight, flight or fight. You need to learn this. So those are my recommendations for this week. Definitely check it out. It's a really fun game. I'm enjoying it. But that kind of wraps us up for this week. Richard, where can people find us?
Yeah, if you want to join the Legion of Dads, you can find us, like us on Facebook, Legion of Dads, or follow us on Twitter at Legion of Dads.
Excellent. All right, before we go, we like to end each episode with a segment we call The Last Laugh. These are dad jokes. Yep, that's right, dad jokes. And Richard, did you have a dad joke for us this week?
All right, so this is a great one that I like to use with my kids or Cub Scouts. Anyways, why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
I don't know. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
Because the P is silent.
And with that, we're out, Legion.